Oh, ooh. I almost broke it. Hey V-Buds, I'm back, and today we're going to be making something weird and original to gift for Valentine's Day, because there are way too many tutorials of the same type of thing out there, and I just had to be me, and that's weird. So yeah. Today I've decided I'm going to be making the Up House out of chocolate, or in this case candy melts, because realistically I can't think of a more romantic 3D structure than the house from Up. And if you haven't seen it, you should probably watch it, because this house right here is nothing but love. And I watched it last night just to make sure, and it still holds up. So that's what we're gonna be making, except it's gonna look way better than this, because this is my 3D attempt with tape and plastic bags to stuff it, and I squished it, so just ignore that. If you're here for something cool, something original, and something edible that you can gift for Valentine's Day, or really any other reason, then you've come to the right place, because that's what we're doing. Now, in order to make today's beautiful structure, not this one, we're gonna need a few different materials, which will include printables off the internet of whatever it is you're choosing to make, some plastic wrap, scotch tape, a flat surface to work on, and I choose to use bench scrapers or cookie sheets, but you can also just use a cutting board or a flat table or a piece of cardboard. You'll also need piping bags, as well as scissors to snip the tips off those bags. And you're also gonna need something thin and sharp to clean up excess candy melt that likes to go wherever it wants. And for that, I'm gonna be using fondant tools today, but typically I choose toothpicks because they're just as useful. I just don't happen to have any. And of course, you are going to need some candy melts. I have tons of colors in there, it's really heavy. The last thing you're gonna need is a microwave to heat up your candy melts, as well as a fridge or freezer if you want the pieces you're creating to solidify a bit quicker. And lastly, patience and motivation. And maybe some music or company, because you're gonna be here a while. And with that, it's time to go down to the table to get started. All right, we are ready to begin. You'll notice I have my candy making tray here, and this is just a Wilton tray, which is 14 by 16 inches wide, and it is intended for baking and cookie making, but I find it's really perfect for the candy melt pictures because it's very large and it's got a lot of space to it. This is the template I printed offline. You can use whatever you want, but this is what I have. And as you can see, I have crossed off a bunch, and that's because this is intended to be a paper craft. All these extra bits are tabs that you would fold or tape to keep the structure together. And because I made one ahead of time, I know what I do and do not need today. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and cut all these bits off to create the pieces. Okay, I have the majority of my pieces cut out now, and you may or may not have noticed, it's hard to tell, but I have cut some of the pieces that look like they belong together in half, or in multiple pieces. For example, this window here. And that's because there are some thick black lines where we would have folded the paper to create things like a bay window, or for this piece here, which was together, it would have created the fold to make the front and side of the house, which I don't need because you can't exactly bend the chocolate. So I'll pipe them out individually and then attach them together when they're done. I've also decided that these pieces here, although they are meant to be folded as two pieces, I'm going to split up into three later on because they are meant to create a curve-shaped roof around the sides. And then I've got all the smaller bits over here, and it's the same idea. But since they're so small, I'm going to deal with those much later. And now that I have finished cutting everything out, I'll just be taping down the piece, and then I'll tape a piece of plastic wrap on top. And now I have all the colors in candy melt form that I need to melt. And that's pretty easy, because all you have to do is put them in the microwave for 15 to 30 second bursts, making sure to flip them and giving a nice zhuzhing in between. This will help them to melt faster and also help to mix colors if you were mixing colors. Here are my colors. They are nicely melted, and I've decided to put them inside some tin foil. That way they stay warm as long as possible. I'm gonna be starting with my black, and I'm gonna be using it on all of these fine lines here because this is gonna be our ugly side, and all the other colors are gonna build on top. The flat side, which is attached to the plastic, is what's gonna be visible on the outside of our house later, so we're gonna need a very fine tip and a steady hand. Wish me luck, let's begin. All right, there is the outline of my house. I tried to stay as steady as I could, but inevitably it's not gonna work out. And you just gotta remember, it's a handmade gift with love that you're really gonna eat, so does it matter? Now that the first layer has hardened a bit, I'm gonna go ahead and start filling in some of the other colors. Although it doesn't look like much, my first panel is done, and now I'm just gonna leave it off to the side as I continue on in the same way, making the other pieces, and then eventually I will start to assemble. So let's do that. Don't worry, you will get to see the finished product when I flip it later. All right, that is my second piece done. Once again, I'm gonna carefully remove it from this board and transfer it to another flat surface where it can continue to set up, and I'll move on to another piece. Now it's time to start making our balloons, and as you can see, I have my super crusty old, well-loved and used piece of cardboard here. It's still going strong, so just ignore that and let's continue on. So I've decided to start with a giant lollipop that I picked up at the dollar store, and when you open it up, it actually has lollipops inside, which I've chosen to take out so that I can use the space for something else. Pretty simple stuff here, folks. All I'm gonna do now is take the time to cover both the top and bottom of my lollipop in pom-poms. And I'm going to be using a mix of both big and small, so it ends up looking like a ton of balloons. To make the white strings that attach my balloons to the chimney, I'm just going to take some thin white yarn and wrap it around my hand a few times and give it a snip. And now we attach our strings. I'm just going to put some hot glue at the base of the tiniest balloons. Now all I'm going to do is add some of the yarn. Once that's done, I'm going to take a piece of tape and just wrap it tightly around to hold it in place for my next step. And now I'll add the strings to the pom-poms above to create that full super helium balloon look. And I'm going to do this very easily by taking the strings at varying lengths and attaching it with a new glob of glue and a fresh pom-pom to the current balloon structure on top. I feel like that was a really smart way of saying stick your glue down with a fresh pom-pom. That's basically what you're doing. Alright, now that they've started to dry, we can go ahead and trim off the excess for a much cleaner look. But since this is going to take me a while, and you don't need to see all that, we can skip ahead to the assembly. Okay guys, my chocolate pieces are done, my balloons are ready, and now it's time for me to assemble. But I want to spoil the surprise and let you know that some pieces look pretty terrible because you can only do so much from the wrong side, so that when you flip it to the right side, you see how bad the right side is. And that's where I'm gonna leave that. So now we need to move our 3D model, which looks like total garbage, out of the way, and we're gonna need those awesome pieces I was telling you about. Check them out. This is the good side, this is the bad side. The bad side is where we were working. The good side is what you couldn't see until it was too late. So I'm gonna move all the ones that I don't need at the moment out of the way and select the foundation for my home. So there's my bay window, the back of my house, the sides of the house, and the front door, which sadly I had to do twice because I forgot to invert the picture. Both of them look terrible, but this is the one that's accurate to the right direction, so we're gonna go with it. And then we've got the upper floors, but I'm gonna add those last with my roof because I don't need them yet. I've unwrapped my first piece, and here's the hints I'm gonna give you now because I'm gonna be focused after and I won't be talking very much. 1, have some room temperature, still squeezable candy melt ready to help pipe this along and help it solidify faster. If it's too hot, it's gonna melt everything and fall apart. 2, same for your hands. Hopefully they're nice and chilly. I'm in a basement, so it's gonna work to my advantage. And now I need to focus. So shh, self. I'm telling myself that. I talk to myself. See, I'm doing it now. Anyways, go. Wish me luck. I'm probably gonna break something. I probably should have made more than one piece because this is probably gonna be terrible. I'm realizing this is not the best angle for you guys. Sorry. I've decided to use a cup with water to help support my structure until it gets more 3D and can hold itself. Just so you guys know, everything that you're able to see here is still gonna be the ugly side. So I'm just gonna quickly assemble what I can of this so that I can rotate it and show you the outside. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. I probably am. Okay, if you want to be super proper about it, you could probably use colors that would match each side, but I'm too lazy to melt all of those again, so I'm just using gray for now. And don't forget to fill the cracks, because no one likes their cracks showing. There's my red side. Oh yeah, fill the cracks. And now is when things start to get scary because I'm gonna have to create a bay window that looks something like this, but way better. Or I could skip it for a second and put on my cruddy door. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's a little less daunting. Okay, it's looking messy, but we are going strong. And now I can't put it off any longer. I have to add the bay window. So I'm gonna need to look at this myself. I'm gonna hold it till it stays. Now we gotta go in for the third window. And I'm not messing around this time. Put the chocolate right on the bottom. Yes. All right, and now comes the tricky stuff. Adding the higher levels. And this is where things could go very, very sad. Well, wrong. I mean, wrong. Because we've got some to put up here, some to put in the back, and a whole heck of a lot of roofs. Roofs? Things that go on top of the house, plus balloons. Let's test those out anyway. Oh my gosh, my balloons don't fit. What am I gonna do? Oh, crud. We will revisit this topic when I have no other choice. As for now, back to the roof. We're just gonna keep our happy, positive spirit and hope for the best. Worst case scenario, we print out some balloons, although that would have been a waste of time, so hopefully not. Now I'm going to attach the back panel, second floor, the blue thing, and hope it doesn't fall down. I did it. Oh my God. I've started making up some pieces now. Turns out the template is mostly suggestion only in my world. And to be fair, I say template loosely because remember, this is not what it was intended for. Realistically, my plan is to hide this with a chimney, but I didn't realize my stick was gonna be so big, so yeah. That's gonna go there. That's gonna maybe go there. What? I can't remember what I was doing. I had big plans. This is what you guys have been missing, me talking to myself. That's it. That's what you've been missing. See you in a minute. Okay guys, I don't know how I did it, but I did. By the grace of all things named Grace, I managed to finish my house. It's not beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I saw something better, and I know you saw me struggling to put it together. I kind of jumped around a bit because it just wasn't happening. But it is done, it looks horrible, and it's made with love. Just remember that, guys. Just remember that. I'm hoping from this far away it looks really, really good, because up close, it's also really good. Check it out, 360 view. Don't pay too much attention because it looks horrible from the back. Is it my best work? Absolutely not. Could it have been better? Oh heck yeah, bud. There was big thoughts going on in my head. It had very unmatchable standards to match. But I am still quite proud because heat and humidity were against me, the balloons were against me, and somehow here we are. At the end of the day, I mean, I wouldn't charge somebody for this, but if you handed me this and you were all like, you know what, I love you so much, I built you an up house, and I could eat it, I'd still be pretty darn happy. And speaking of eating it, but I can't eat too much because I still have to give this to my husband. Otherwise, how would he know how much I love him? Enough to build a house and send it up, up, up. This isn't weird. Oh, I almost broke it. All right, there's one last thing I need to try, and I'm actually kind of scared because I wasn't smart enough to test it, but I did tell you guys that I chose to use the lollipop that could open so that technically I could put a present inside. Shoot, I'm too scared. I'm gonna break it. I've decided I'm not going to open it because I started to break my chimney. The point is it can open, and once we're done eating all the candy melts, we can take those balloons out and reuse them when I make a much better version of this house. And then boom, keepsake forever, as well as the video so that I can remind myself to never, and I mean never, try to recreate a house out of chocolate again. Gingerbread, cake, sure. Straight up just chocolate or candy melts. In the future, it's gonna be a hard no. That is, of course, unless I forget all about this experience and do it again by accident. If you know somebody who would enjoy watching this video because they love Up and realize that this house is amazing despite all of its obvious flaws, then please share this video with them. And if you enjoyed this video yourself, then please make sure you remember to comment, like, and subscribe. You can let me know down below everything you liked or didn't like, or what you think I should try to make out of candy melts in the future, because I really do love working with them and find that it's usually a pretty easy and great way to decorate birthday cakes and little treats. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! I'm a loser.